I would like to call to order the Patch Junction Water District meeting on November 19th, 2024 to order. And again, request all cell phones be placed on silent mode. Roll call.
Chairperson Wilson,
Here.
Vice Chair Schroeder,
Present.
Board Member Cross,
Here.
Board Member Heck,
Here.
Board Member Johnson,
Here.
Board Member Nesser,
Present.
Board Member Seller.
Yes.
You have a quorum, Your Honor.
Thank you. Approval of minutes for the October 15th, 2024 special meeting.
So moved, Chair. Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call.
Board Member Cross,
Yes.
Board Member Nesser,
Yes.
Board Member Seller,
Yes.
Board Member Johnson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Schroeder,
Yes.
Board Member Heck,
Yes.
Chair Wilson.
Yes.
Unanimous, Your Honor.
Thank you. Presentation, discussion, and consideration of construction agreement. Mike.
Good evening, Chairman Wilson, a member of this board. Presenting to you tonight, we're looking at adding some security to our surface water plant, superstition area water plant. This is for safety and security down there. We're looking at using a cooperative agreement, 1 GPA, and then for a cost of $101,000 for this project. What we're doing down here is, as we built the plant, we added extra conduits in all the lights around the plant so that we could pull cable in later to install video cameras. We're going to approximately install 50 video cameras along the fence lines, as well as inside the buildings, around the chemical areas. So if we do have somebody that jumps the fence, we do get alarms due to the automation that's part of the security system. Or if somebody gets in there or chemical spills, it sees motion at a certain time at night when nobody's supposed to be there, it will alarm us too. So we're adding and enhancing our facility down there. So not only for security purposes for terrorists and different things like that, but also for operators to see when there's a chemical spill or something else happens on that location so they can see it visually before they physically show up on site there if something happened and it could be dangerous to them. So we went out and reached out for contracts and found a cooperative agreement, and then we're requesting that you guys approve tonight our contract for that $101,000. This was included in our 2025 budget, so we did plan on spending this money this year. Any questions?
Any questions?
More of just a statement. Great idea.
Just the 100,000, 101,000, is that just a one-time?
For the cameras, correct. And currently, we're using a Vigilon with the city, so we pay a support agreement with them already. This will just tie to the city's surveillance system they have for City Hall here, that we have at our Booster One. I think we have some at Public Works and also up at Parks and Rec. Okay. And we're continuing to add to this system so that we can manage it. Police department will be able to see it also as part of it.
No other questions? No. Do I have a motion to, on the construction agreement?
Mayor?
Yes.
I move that the construction agreement between Water Utilities, Community Facilities District, and Fire Security Electronics and Communications, Inc. for video surveillance systems at Superstition Area Water Plant in the amount not to exceed $101,743.80 be approved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call.
Board Member Heck,
Yes.
Board Member Cross,
Yes.
Vice Chair Schroeder,
Yes.
Board Member Nesser,
Yes.
Board Member Johnson,
Yes.
Board Member Seller,
Yes.
Chair Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes, Your Honor.
Thank you. District Manager's Report. Bryant.
No report, Your Honor.
District Director's Report. Mike.
So I want to give you some updates. We've been working on several projects behind the scenes here. I think you guys are familiar. I'll give a little update on our Verde space sedimentation project we're working on for raising the dam, or whatever may turn out there. But this is another project that we've talked about, it was roughly about 2 years ago, doing an interconnect. Currently, we can pass Central Arizona Project water or Colorado River water to SRP, to their canal system, but there is no way to push the water the opposite direction at this point in time. If we do receive some of those water supplies from the Verde system, we would need to be able to utilize this to push water, wet water, into the Central Arizona project so that it would be delivered to our surface water treatment plant so we could treat it at a later date or store it at some other facility if we chose to do so. So we're still working with all of our partners out there to move forward with this project. There's roughly about 15 to 20 also partners as part of this. As you can imagine, SRP and CAP are the biggest partners because they want to be able to utilize all of the state's water resources to the best of their ability. So we're working through that process with them. I'm going to show a little video. This was shown a couple years ago, and just kind of reminder, this project's still going on out here. It's a major project that we have.
Arizona's water history is distinguished by the impact of strategic water infrastructure. The key to unlocking the full potential of that infrastructure is the interconnection between existing facilities. Maximizing the use of existing facilities affords the greatest return.
So just kind of breaking into this video here, as you can see, this is Granite Reef. So this is currently where the Salt River ends and then turns into the canal system for SRP, and they can deliver water in different directions. I'm going to back up a little bit here. Where'd it go? This is the true interconnect between SRP and CAP right now. So they can actually feed water in this channel here, and then it flows down to the Salt River to feed into those canals as a portion of that.
Where's that located?
So that's roughly at Power, north of Las Sendas, up there right at the end of where the Verde and the SRP come to, or the Salt River come together at Granite Reef.
Maximizing the use of existing facilities affords the greatest return on investment, while providing the greatest water resource benefit for SRP shareholders and regional partners. One example is the interconnection between the Salt River Project and the Central Arizona Project water systems. Delivering a combined 2.3 million acre-feet per year to over 5 million Arizonans, SRP and CAP manage the water resources that support Central Arizona's economy. The CAP water system begins with intake pumps at Lake Havasu that divert Colorado River water into the CAP canal. With a capacity of 3,300 cubic feet per second, the CAP canal transports about 1.5 million acre-feet of Colorado River water per year. From there, the water is pumped hundreds of miles across central Arizona for delivery to municipal, industrial, and agricultural users from Phoenix to Tucson. After crossing the valley, the canal approaches the CAP Salt River Siphon, located just downstream of the Granite Reef Diversion Dam. Here, the open ditch canal goes underground, bringing CAP water under the Salt River and SRP's Arizona and South Canals. The pressure created by the siphon pushes the water uphill, emerging at the surface on the south side of the Salt River. Just downstream is the CAP-SRP Interconnection Facility, also known as the CSIF. With a total capacity of 1,200 cubic feet per second, the CSIF is a one-way interconnection of the CAP canal to SRP's water delivery system. The CSIF delivers CAP water to one of 3 points, either to SRP's South Canal, to the Salt River bed, or to SRP's Arizona Canal. With these connections, CAP water can be delivered to any point along more than 1,200 miles of SRP canals and laterals, including recharge facilities and 11 drinking water treatment plants, used to provide safe, reliable drinking water to the valley. In addition to the treatment plants served from SRP's canals, there are 9 water treatment plants on the CAP system. In general, the water treatment plants on the SRP canals treat SRP water and serve SRP lands, while the water treatment plants on the CAP system treat CAP water and serve areas outside of SRP. However, there are significant water supplies stored underground in SRP's service area and in SRP's reservoirs, intended to serve customers outside of SRP's service area. Currently, those supplies can only be delivered to water treatment plants directly connected to SRP's delivery system. The capability of the connected water treatment plants to push water to areas where it's needed ranges from very limited to non-existent. The ability to put water from SRP's system into the CAP canal would change that. In order to facilitate expanded delivery and enhanced resiliency of the valley's water supplies, SRP is proposing to construct a new SRP-CAP interconnection. Referred to as the SCIF, this interconnection facility will be a critical component of the valley's water delivery infrastructure. Located next to the existing interconnection facility, the SCIF will allow greater flexibility and improved efficiency by delivering the valley's water supply to where it's needed. The facility will consist of a pumping station and a short length of underground pipe connecting SRP's South Canal to the CAP Canal. The SCIF can be used in a variety of ways to transport water without building extensive and costly additional infrastructure like pipelines and wells. For example, using the SCIF to deliver water held in the 304,000 acre-feet of storage capacity in the new conservation space at Roosevelt Lake eliminates the need for additional infrastructure to move this water outside of SRP's service area. NCS water stored here by Mesa, Tempe, Chandler, Scottsdale, Phoenix, and Glendale is intended for use outside of SRP's service area, but at present can only be delivered to those cities' SRP treatment plants. With the SCIF in place, Mesa, for example, could order its NCS water released from Roosevelt Lake, have it diverted through the SCIF, and use the CAP Canal to directly deliver it to Mesa's CAP water treatment plant for use outside of SRP's water service area. The SCIF can provide the same access for water users located upstream of the interconnection. For example, Glendale could order its NCS water released from Roosevelt Lake to be diverted through the SCIF and delivered to the CAP Canal, and in turn, take delivery of water from the CAP Canal at its water treatment plant. This type of indirect delivery is possible without impacting other CAP deliveries, and could even provide operational flexibility for the CAP during peak demand periods. The SCIF could be used in the same way for Phoenix's Gatewater and SRP CAP water exchange. But perhaps its greatest impact will be on the recovery of long-term storage credits stored within SRP's water service area. Most of the CAP water released to the SRP delivery system has been recharged into underground storage facilities operated by SRP. SRP manages 3 recharge facilities: the SRP Groundwater Savings Facility, the New River Agua Fria River Underground Storage Project, or NAUSP, and the Granite Reef Underground Storage Project, or GRUSP. Also located within SRP's boundaries are several other city-owned recharge projects. Altogether, over 1.8 million acre-feet of long-term storage credits are currently stored at these facilities. These credits are held by Valley Cities, the Arizona Water Banking Authority, the CAP, SRP, and others. When needed, these credits will be pumped from a well, ideally one located within the area where the water was stored. SRP has over 270 wells within its service area that are ideally located for recovering these long-term storage credits. But like the surface water stored in SRP's reservoirs, recovered well water can currently only be delivered using SRP's delivery system. That presents a problem, considering that the vast majority of these credits are intended to meet water needs outside of SRP's service area for future growth or for use during a Colorado River shortage. Here's how this SCIF can help. With the new interconnection in place, cities like Phoenix, with over 200,000 acre-feet of credits stored within SRP's service area, can arrange to use SRP's wells for recovery. One or more wells would pump Phoenix's stored water and deliver it to SRP customers in place of the SRP water they would normally receive. The SRP water would instead be diverted into the CAP Canal using the SCIF, allowing Phoenix to take delivery of an equal amount of water at their CAP water treatment plant. This same arrangement can be made with cities located outside of SRP's water service area. For example, Apache Junction has recharged CAP water at SRP's Groundwater Savings Facility. In the future, they could use this skiff to obtain direct access to their stored water using SRP's wells capable of recovering water from the area where it was stored. Apache Junction would arrange to use SRP's wells for recovery. One or more of SRP's wells would pump the stored water and deliver it to SRP customers in place of the SRP water they would normally receive. That water would instead be diverted into the CAP canal using the skiff, which would flow down to Apache Junction's CAP water treatment plant. This same arrangement could also benefit future development in Queen Creek, the Santan Valley, Superstition Vistas, Goodyear, and Buckeye through the purchase of existing credits stored within SRP's boundaries, or for future storage and recovery of newly acquired water resources. Whether for recovery, direct or indirect delivery, the skiff offers valuable benefits, such as an infrastructure solution that serves the entire valley, and a secure water resource management tool that provides added resiliency for the valley's water supplies. Being prepared for both future growth and water supply shortages requires regional cooperation, just as it did to build both the Salt River Project and the CAP. Interconnections between water systems, like the skiff, are necessary to maximize efficiencies of existing infrastructure and facilitate flexible water delivery systems that can adapt to changing conditions. Arizona's water history is distinguished by the impact of strategic water infrastructure, and that remains true today. Arizona's future will require the same types of investment in water infrastructure to maintain dependable access to renewable supplies in increasingly uncertain times.
Okay, do we have any questions on the video there? I know there's a lot of information there that was provided to you guys, but as you're aware, as a board, we present to you a lot of things here, especially our groundwater savings facilities, as they mentioned here with Salt River Project. We have stored water there, so this is an option for us also to pump water out, to use that SRP water that's coming down their river to CAP and then ultimately deliver to our surface water plant. So planning for these futures with saving that water underground, using groundwater savings facilities is what we're looking to do here. Also working with them on the Verde system for additional capacity on that. We do already have some of SRP's permitted as recovery wells for the district. Even though they're not within the district, we can pump those wells and that can be considered our water, even though they're not ours. So we've been planning for a lot of these things in the past, and as you guys can actually see them come to fruition, if this project moves forward, which we're hoping it does, with a lot of other cities, it gives us a lot of opportunities to move water around the state.
Mayor,
Yes.
when do they think they might be able to start working on this project? I know they're working on it, but actually dig for this project.
So currently, we're in the design phase. I think we're at 30% of design. We're probably looking, finishing up design in the next 2 years. So 2027, start construction, probably won't be finished till like 2030.
Makes perfect sense. Be able to share water between the rivers.
So the biggest thing, as you guys noticed, that in the CAP, we deliver about 1.5 million acre feet a year. With reductions, it could be down to 1 million, could be down to 500,000 acre feet. This gives us another opportunity to put wet water back in that channel if we need to in the future, and that's really what the big push is here. We're struggling with some other communities about water quality because it's different than the Colorado River, so we're working through that process. A wheeling agreement in the Colorado or Central Arizona project was approved a couple years ago, but we're still figuring out the water quality things that we can do. A lot of cities just want to see drinking water put in the channel, but there's plenty of blendability that's in there that could take out some of those constituents that other cities are worried about.
Okay.
So hang on here, Mayor.
Yeah.
So have more. So paying for this, how are we looking to pay for this? So we have some different opportunities. We met with SRP. We do have this, it's a funding 2 bucket that the Bureau of Reclamation is looking for us to possibly buy in on. We're not sold on it yet. They're asking communities to conserve water behind the dams up in the Colorado River. But for those cities that are Colorado River rich in water, that's probably an opportunity for them to save it so they don't have to restore it or store it down here. We're probably not in those same areas they are. because we're likely using a lot of our water here with new development that's happening. So we wouldn't want to pledge our water for the next 20 years to stay behind the dam to earn those dollars. Again, we just saved water with the Water Conservation District about a year ago. They paid us $3,000 an acre foot for that water. As you guys are aware, when we purchased or leased it from GRIC, it was about $3,000. Now it's about $10,000 acre foot. So it may be worth us taking our water and using it on open market, or using it rather than purchasing stuff at $10,000 acre foot, and when we have it at $3,000 an acre foot. So we're thinking through that process and working through that. So we'll give you some suggestions as we move forward with this project, but looking at those dollars amount, it doesn't make sense at this point in time. Otherwise, there's other options is paying for the infrastructure directly with cash. Some of these new developments and infrastructure that we spend for new facilities would go into that, or possibility the federal government funding the entire project and then each city leasing space out of those facilities. So we're working through that procedures and what everybody's looking at. Again, there's a lot of cities involved in this, so we'll be working through that over the next couple of years to figure out what we need to do. Okay. And then the Verde River Sedimentation Mitigation Study, so raising Bartlett Dam. We're doing some other things. I just kind of want to give you a heads up on where we're at. So this kind of gives you an idea. So we're working through the study process here. As you can see, we did a capacity allocation recommendations. We brought that to you guys, what we were recommended that we'd receive. It's jumping up and down still. We still have not got or received what the federal government is going to request at this point in time. So we're still right here, roughly going into 2025, waiting on that. But the next big process here is the NEPA process. So environmental feasibility will take a couple of years to go through. This is going through the federal government, making sure everybody's happy with how we're doing out there, with all the environment, with all the animals and everything that's happening. So that's going to take a couple of years. We're looking at, in that meantime, creating construction contracts of this billion-dollar job. So roughly in about 2028 is when we'd need those funds available. And roughly our portion would be about $20 million at that point in time. And we believe we should have that in the bank with all of our new development and water acquisition fees that we have. So very long project. Even in 2028, when it starts getting funded, the dam's not going to be finished probably till 2034 for another 5 to 6 years after we start the project. Any questions on that time frame? So as part of the study, the initial funding for the design of this dam and study was about $32 million, or sorry, $27 million. As we came back before, we had some bald eagles in that area. They had to change what they were doing. We have an increase in price of roughly about $6.4 million for the study. So here's all the additional information. I kind of showed you guys this before. The trial quarry moved from right there where you pull in, where all the boats were docking, to across the lake, and now they had to use barges to get their equipment across there. It was under 30 foot of overburden, so they had to peel all those layers of dirt off before they could get to this rock to make sure that it was good to build this dam. So they're working through that process. As you can see, that was a large portion of it. They also required to do a study of, they did just a generic one of how do we remove this sedimentation, or how do we manage it over time. So they have to go back and show that this isn't the only option is to raise the dam. There is still that obligation to say we could remove some of that sedimentation in that facility to make it work still. So they're working through that. We have finished up some of the other studies, so roughly about a $6.4 million change order to this project just for the study portion that we just talked about there. That's taken about 3 to 4 years to finish. So what does that mean to us? So here's our initial numbers here. Our funding by our SRP was about $1 million. City of Phoenix was $600,000, and then we're a voting member, so it's roughly $400,000 a year. As you can see in this next table, we've paid $300,000 of that. We're in our last payment coming up in May of 2025, the last $100,000. With this change order to all the cities, it's going to extend our agreement and cost us another $144,000 an additional 2 years as part of this project. So just want to keep you guys aware of the funds that we're still spending. It was part of that agreement that they could go up or go down. So I won't be bringing the agreement back to you. We're just going to be doing a new Exhibit D to that agreement to show these costs that you guys will be spending. Any questions on this?
Nope.
And the last project, We're not bringing it to you for approval tonight, but we'll be bringing it to you in the near future. So we're working on in the AJWD underground storage facility. As we store in these other locations, if we don't have wells within a mile of where we're storing our water, we lose 10% cut through to our aquifer. So what does that mean? As soon as we store 1,000 acre feet, we lose 100 acre feet of that water just for it cutting through the aquifer unless we have a well within 1 mile of that facility. So as we move south with new development, we're going to store some of our water either with the sewer district or a new facility that we have. So we're going to either use aquifer storage and recovery wells. So we're going to take potable water, put it in the ground at a later date when, say, CAP is not available or we need additional supplies, we can pump that water back out and we don't lose that 10% because it's right there where we're putting it in the ground. Or we could do vadostone wells where we could take effluent and put it in the ground as part of some of the non-potable water infrastructure that we have and store that underground. But again, as long as we're within a mile of those vadostone wells, we don't get that 10% cut through the aquifer, so we don't lose that water. So building it out here, as other cities pump their wells, if we lose CAP water, the water table is going to go down. And unfortunately, we're on the bathtub ring, the top layer, and we'd be the first ones to lose water, so we want to make sure that we replenish our aquifer out here so that we don't lose it as other cities pump their wells in the future. So we'll be working with Clear Creek and Associates for the permitting process with the ADWR, and then they'll be doing a hydraulic study so we can make sure how much water we put in the ground, it starts mounding up. We don't want to bring it up too high so that it actually creates a marsh or something like that. So we have to go through a whole study showing this how much water we can put in the ground, this how much it will take, and then how much we can take out of it in the future so we can provide that. So that study's going to take us probably a year to get through with ADWR, so we're working through that process with them. Okay. But I'll bring this back to you guys again. I just want to get you a little bit familiar with it, especially since we're talking about recharge with SRP and some different things. This is one thing we are also working on here. And that's all I have for tonight. Any other questions?
Thank you. District Treasurer's report. No report. There you are, okay. I will adjourn the Apache Junction Water District meeting.